Good evening. Welcome to the December 11th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to we have minutes, correct, I believe?
We do.
We do?
This meeting.
Yeah.
11:13.
11:13, thank you. So any changes or edits to the minutes from 11:13?
I'm sorry, 11:27.
11:27. Correction, 11:27. Any changes to those? Would entertain a motion?
I make a motion we approve the minutes for 11/27.
Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second from Judge. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These minutes are approved. All right, on to department head reports. First up will be Police Department, Chief Morgan.
Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 523 calls for service. A total of 13 people were arrested for the following crimes: 4 for operating while intoxicated, 7 were wanted on a warrant, 1 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of a controlled substance. In that same time frame, LPD took 21 crash reports. And Mayor, I did check on that. We don't have the software, but we believe the county does, so we can probably you asked me about the crash reports last meeting.
Yeah.
I think we can get those plotted with the software the county has.
Great, thank you.
Okay. On to training. November 29th, LPD did its last firearms qualification for 2023. And then last week, we did our last defensive tactics training, and we actually sat down with the defensive tactics instructors and went over the new policy that the state has mandated that everybody go to, which ours has been better than that already since we use Lexipol, but we went through the changes and stuff in it. Then the last thing I have is Cody Hollingsworth, Parker Newman, and Caleb McCloskey have made it through public safety medical. All the poking and prodding, they made it. So PERF approved them. We're actually going to hire them on the 13th, and then they'll be going to the academy the first week of January.
Good.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Chief from the board?
Good.
Public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 131 emergency calls of service, logged 281 training hours, finalized 9 commercial inspections, and completed 9 commercial pre-plans and completed 41 commercial inspections. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, Lebanon Fire performed live fire night training at the Boone County Training Tower. We focused on fire attack, search, and breaching. We invited the Whitestown Fire Department to join us, and it was just a great training for both departments. This is also very important with ISO, that it shows that we performed a night training with a mutual aid department. So it checks a lot of boxes for us. December 2nd, LFD participated in the Christmas parade. John Messenger and his staff did an amazing job setting up the Christmas parade. It was very well attended. And this was Chief Baird and Chief Wirey's final Christmas parade. They brought their families with them and had a very nice time. December 9th, LFD Station 11 hosted the YMCA's Breakfast with Santa. This is the second or third year that we've done this. This is a great collaboration. Can't talk this evening. And we want to thank them for thinking of us for this event. December 11th through the 15th, firefighter Chris Perry is attending Indiana State certification for Instructor 2. Chris is scheduled to be our next lieutenant on the department. This is an advanced level certification which allows him to become a live fire instructor. I have the privilege of serving on the Boone County Salvation Army Advisory Board. The Boone County Kettle campaign is kicked off and is doing very well. The LFD admin staff has spent a couple afternoons ringing the bell. I'd like to encourage everyone to do so at registertoring.com. And finally, LFD would like to thank the Whitestown Fire Department for loaning us their backup ladder while our ladder 213 was down for mechanical repairs. It's very generous of them. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board?
I just want to make a comment. Thank you again for the pictures
Oh,
that you
the
send to
picture, yeah.
support the things that really are happening, and it's a good. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Anything from the public? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, next will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. Thanks, Chuck, for the kind words. The staff is really good and did a nice job on the parade. And I got to see Chief out there firsthand. Neighbor had a fire this past week. Guys did a great job. They were on the spot real quick. Saw Chief there too. Responded very quick and got it out. No damage to speak of, and that's because of their fast work. And I greatly appreciate our public safety, all they do. Just wanted to say that. We're working right now on programming and staffing for the 2024 season. Interviews, we're interviewing maintenance workers, also water park staff, and doing recertifications December 20th for the people that need recertifications. They have to be recertified every 2 years, so we do that. And we'll start very soon with all the interviews. Also working on restructuring some personnel and reviewing our park rules and policies, going through all that during the winter. So our staff's in the office staying very busy. Had a great time at our Christmas in the cabin and Christmas parade. It took place December 2nd. The weather was much better than last year. Had a great crowd. The Christmas parade was a hit as well, and everyone enjoyed themselves. Loved the event and look forward to it every year. And Mayor, I appreciate you. You had to ride with Tammy. Sorry about that.
No, it was fun. It was good.
No, I'm just
It was
kidding
good.
you. She does a great job. She really does. And Joe downtown and Missy and all that at the Heart of Lebanon, just outstanding. Nice event. Soon we'll be announcing our blanket for fort building contest. Stay tuned and make sure to follow on our social media. It's always fun contest for families and over Christmas break. And I guess we aren't going to have any snow fort building.
Hey,
I did it, didn't I? I did
first
it.
one.
I know it. I did it last year, and what happened? Yeah, sorry about that, but I think we're safe.
Okay. Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board? For the public? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Have a good Christmas, everybody, and holiday.
All right, next will be Engineering Department. Kevin Krulik.
Thank you, board members. Good evening. Project updates around the city. Still a lot going on, even though we're getting into winter here. Fordyce Street. Contract documents were published on that about a month ago, and we have decided, originally the bid opening was scheduled for tonight. We are going to continue that to next Monday, holding a special meeting to open that bid package due to some design changes that were brought about through the bidding process. So just letting everyone know, we're not opening that one tonight. We'll be opening that basically a week from today at 3 p.m. Again, nothing else has really changed in the overall scope of the project, just clarifying a few things there. On the Riley Road project and the Elizaville Road project, those will open later tonight. So we'll have bid openings for that. We'll also have some contract approvals for your consideration associated with additional survey work on Elizaville Road, and then as well as inspection work on Riley Road and the Elizaville Road projects. Regional detention, happy to report that we received a preliminary approval from CSX on the 5th, and are working on getting the final documentation associated with that permit by year's end. And we're also continuing to work with NDOT on that matter as well. And again, hopefully we'll wrap those approvals up first quarter, and that'll be something we'll be bidding early next year as well for that regional detention or regional conveyance system underneath 39 and the CSX Railroad right away. Grant Street project, a lot of flurry of activity going on there over the last week. Essentially, since we've last met, all the concrete flat work is now complete. Light pole bases are complete. The lights are also stood up and complete at this point. Waiting energizing, but all the lights and wiring and circuitry is in place. Sod was laid last week. I will say, not real pleased with the amount, the level of detail on the sod work, and there's been a lot of rework that's also been happening over the weekend and continues to happen on that. So We got a couple of calls from homeowners unhappy with that. Trust me, we are also unhappy, and we're working through that with our contractor and our subcontractor on that project. The asphalt surface, given the time of year and the weather pattern, at this point, we were pushing that off till spring. But we have put down temporary striping. Tree planting is also pushed off till spring, but essentially as of today, Grant Street is now open to two-way traffic again on that intermediate level of asphalt, so there's still another 1.5 inches of surface that goes on top of that, and that will happen when the weather allows. Williams Street remains closed just for the staging of equipment while they're wrapping up some things, or while they're reworking the sod and working on the yard drains, but that should open by the end of the week. And the whole project will be completely open to traffic until spring, when we might have to do some temporary closures as we complete the project. Phase 2 of Grant Street, south of Washington Street down to Indianapolis Avenue. Right-of-way offers have now been approved by NDOT to go out, so those will be going out this week. We kind of have a rush there, as those appraisals were done quite some time ago, and we need to get those out before the appraisals expire. So look for people along that corridor, or at least some of them, that will get a nice little monetary offer associated with those right-of-way purchases here before Christmas. Noble Street and County Road 300 North, I just want to let everyone know that we did successfully submit those grant applications for federal aid on the 1st of December. We've received notice that those were accepted and are under review, and we should look to have project interviews sometime in January and decisions made sometime around the end of the first quarter. Other projects that we're working on for other departments around the city, let's start off with the parks projects. Up at Stone Eater Bike Park, the mass earthwork hauling is now complete. There's been additional 50,000 cubic yards of material brought into the site. So all the hauling is done. There's still some finished grading that needs to happen. At the last meeting, you might recall, we did open a bid package on the parking lot and site utility improvements, quite a bit higher than our budget. So we're working through our options there. We're also beginning to break out that project into smaller projects, like an electrical package, a water package, and a storm sewer drainage package for potential rebidding that we'll have to do on that to get the project where it needs to be. Ongoing work still out there. I mentioned the mass grading, the finished grading associated with that. We'll move forward with merit contracting as weather allows. Fencing is also ongoing, but should be wrapping up in the next week to 2 weeks. And then I can't thank John and his crew, particularly Luke Hale, for all the work they're doing on trail clearing and cleanup. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Boone County Solid Waste District and the efforts that they've put into this in supplying us with free dumpsters for that site cleanup. So those continue to move forward. Other projects on the Parks Department, we're beginning to look at the old Street Department garage site. Phase 1 and Phase 2 studies have been completed. Only a small areas of high soil pH that were of minor concerns there, but they're at such a level that, and they're so isolated that they would not require remediation or removal. These soil pH areas, probably where asphalt or gasoline fuel deposits leaked onto the ground is what happened there. But it's of a level and a size where we'll just have to have a plan to make sure those areas are covered, meaning they'll need to be under pavement or under concrete, something of that nature, so that you couldn't dig into those areas. But again, nothing that would require any remediation or removal, or nothing that would prohibit us from redeveloping the park site. So currently, we're working through V3 companies. That's the engineering firm that did the Phase 1 and Phase 2 on a master planning effort, and there will be a contract for your consideration later in the meeting. Also looking at, also working with John and his team on reconstruction of pickleball courts, construction of the Admiral Longley Park fishing pier, also looking at some additional projects that we're working on scoping, including pathways around Admiral Longley, lighting, the Frisbee golf course, playground equipment upgrades at Abner Longley, Memorial Park drainage, and Reese Park asphalt for parking improvements there. So just a few things going on. We're meeting with all the department heads this week, Savannah, Soldier, and I, to go through 2024 projects to understand what kind of bidding processes that we need to be ready for as we move forward into project delivery for them. So that includes police station, sewer upgrades, and we're also working with the fire department on their new fire station, working with the Department of Public Works on bid packages for unit pricing, which will be published tomorrow. So a lot going on. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about the LEAP District. We're really kind of nearing the end of the construction season, so wrapping up projects there. Witt Road North, the bridge is now complete. All the concrete forms, the crane are being removed as we speak, or were removed today. Base asphalt is complete, and they're working on getting intermediate asphalt in place so they can open that road to local traffic in the next 2 weeks. County Road 375 is in a similar boat there. There is now asphalt all the way out to 39, up to the base layer. Intermediate asphalt is scheduled for this week. And the road will remain closed to through traffic through the winter, but it will have new asphalt in place from Witt Road all the way over to 39. The Eastern Bypass also has base paving complete, and we'll have intermediate paving complete in the next week. We will leave that closed, though, through the winter because there's nobody that lives on the Eastern Bypass, but that road will be opening up in the spring for the spring planting season. And then 450 North, widening and paving is expected in the spring as well. So that's kind of where projects stand as we near the end of the year. One last update, Witt Road South, they will be demolishing the existing pavement on Wednesday, repaving on Thursday, and cleaning up shoulder stone on Friday. So there'll be some new pavement in there. During that time, later in the week, sort of Wednesday, Thursday, when they're repaving Witt Road South, it will kind of be only open to one-way north traffic, and then traffic will exit from the Lilly site east on 375 while they're working in those areas.
When you say Wood Road South, that's south of 300 or south?
South of 375.
Okay.
Yeah, 300 to 375. So.
All right. A lot of
That's all I
stuff
got.
going on, obviously. Any questions for Kevin from the board? Al?
What's the update on 300 at 52 as far as westbound traffic? Is it still closed?
No, it's been open for
I think it was
almost 2 weeks
I think it
now.
was just after our last meeting. It
Oh,
opened.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it did open that week of the last meeting. All the traffic signal poles are up, all the cables are up. The traffic signal meter bases have all been inspected and just waiting on they're waiting on the power to be hooked up by Lebanon Utilities and Boone County REMC, and they're expecting those temporary traffic signals will be operational by the end of the week.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for Kevin from the board? Public? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members and planning department. Over the last couple of weeks, we're still seeing very strong construction activity. We completed 68 building inspections, and considering we still really only have one full-time building inspector, that's 6 to 7 inspections a day. So, continuing to see really strong construction activity. On the permit side, I think this is the first meeting in a long time where we did not have a new residential home permit on the count. So I didn't go back and look, but I'm pretty sure this might be the first one this year where we didn't have one. So maybe a little bit of a permitting slowdown through the end of the year, but I don't expect that to stay that way. So we did issue 45 permits, and a lot of them are related to mechanicals as it relates to those homes. So we get a new home permit, then about 2 months later you see the electrical permit, and then a month later you see the plumbing permit. So that's what we're seeing right now. In terms of actually project updates, maybe a few, just adding, Kevin talked about infrastructure, just some of the Eli Lilly site, quick update there. They did the significant foundation pour about a month ago. The second building now, that's actually their utilities building. They're starting to work on the footers and foundations for that. They'll probably be pouring footers and foundations every day between now and the end of the year. Their hope is to put the first piece of steel up before Christmas. At least that's whatever they're holding there. They're crossing their fingers and hoping that's the case, that they'll have some first steel in that utilities building going up before the end of the year. And then very soon after that, we'll see the kind of a waterfall of the other buildings. Once they get far enough along in the foundations here, they'll move right to the next one. So we're just going to see, they're going to be pouring concrete between now and the end of next year probably on all these buildings. So just to see a lot of activity out there. Fieldhouse project, that building is nearing completion. They're expecting to hold their first tournament in the middle of February. So getting real close there. Let's see, like I said, new single family continue to remain strong. The Bel Canto project, the apartments multifamily that's just south of the field house, is continuing to see very significant construction activity. We'll see some of those first buildings starting to be complete and ready to occupy probably in springtime. So really strong activity there. I'm trying to think, the Fairfield Inn, that's part of the Gateway Marketplace project. They were trying to work on a few minor things, and my expectation is that we'll start construction before too terrible long, possibly even still this winter time. So should see some activity out there in Gateway Marketplace on that project moving forward as well. Those are a couple of quick projects updates there. On the code enforcement side, again, seeing a little bit of the winter slowdown that you expect this time of year, but still had 24 different activities over the last couple of weeks, including email follow-ups and general follow-ups and getting all those things addressed. Did have 3 new cases over the last couple of weeks, primarily on unsafe structures and parking violations. So again, you don't have a whole lot of grass and weed complaints this time of year that we typically see during the summer, but there's still a lot of things going on towards the end of the year. That's all I got for you tonight.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions from the board? Dick?
Ben, what's the restaurant that's going out by Fairfield Inn?
Bar Louie.
What's it again?
Bar Louie.
Bar Louie.
There's one in Carmel,
Okay.
and I think there's one other location somewhere too. So it'll be the northern part of that site will be the Bar Louie, and then the hotel will be just south of it.
Any other questions from the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Public Works Department. Jason Lawson.
Good evening. Since our last meeting, I'm happy to report that we have all snow equipment, blades, salt spreaders, everything.
You said it too. We don't say that word in this meetings, okay?
But it's all inside and ready to go. It's all housed inside.
Fair enough.
Ready to
Fair
go.
enough.
As you can see, we picked up the leaves. That should be pounds. So we picked up over 1 billion pounds of leaves this year. Unbelievable. From stormwater, we had a manhole on Syracuse that we had a resident call in. We looked into. They had a beehive in their backyard, and we had everything cameraed and everything done. Had engineering out to look at it, and that's the final product. So the project's complete. Residents happy. Upcoming, I'm always working with Kevin in engineering on capital planning for projects. On our inspections, we had 9 SWIP inspections, 5 right-of-way inspections. We fielded 1 complaint, which was dust, and it was remediated and everything's fine. So that's all I have. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions for Jason from the board? From the public? Yep, thank you, sir. And last but not least, Communications and Community Development. Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. Work continues within the Community Development Department and Communications Department to get things solidified for Eclipse 2024. At the last Board of Works meeting, we talked about, actually Kevin giving my report talked about having logos ready to go for the Eclipse, and here they are. The top 2 logos, as you will see, are black and white version and the color version of the official logo. Now, just a few things, and don't want to belabor here the logo itself. The time on the courthouse is 3:07. 3:07 is when the path of totality, it will go completely dark thanks to the eclipse here within Lebanon, Indiana. Also, along with the funky, cool shades, you see the reflection, the circular reflection of what would be the eclipse taking place. Also, that portion of the courthouse is facing to the southeast, which is where the best viewing will take place on the south side. So it's not just the courthouse. It's not just a pair of glasses. It's just not just the clock. There's some meaning behind it as well. So you see the Solar Eclipse Festival taking place in Lebanon, Indiana. The top two logos are the main logo. The second one there, aka the mayor's favorite, will be used for the 5K and be used in the pickleball tournament as well. Some different things that will take place within the Eclipse events in Lebanon, Indiana. Brought some tchotchkes here, some swag, and so please take some of those. It's kind of a reminder for the event taking place next year, but also it'll serve as a commemoration of it for the guests that are here. If you need some of those, everybody, you can stop by the mayor's office. We'll also be dropping those off at the various watch party locations. So along with the logos and that type of thing, work continues on the web page, the City of Lebanon web page, when it comes to the Eclipse 2024. Stages have been secured, different musical acts, different things have been taking place. Still finalizing the route for the 5K, 10K as well, but we're thinking that the start and finish will take place here at the municipal building. So a lot of things still working there. And so that's the Eclipse. Also would like to continue to tout our intern, Anna Hale. She's phenomenal. The latest thing she's working on is a Learning in Lebanon project. So this is a video project highlighting all the LHS interns on the job. And so there are more than 10 students that are LHS students that are taking place in various internship opportunities, not only in Lebanon, but out at Newfields. We had one at Grand Park as well. Anna wants to highlight those young people on the job. And so Cowan's Drugstore, Witham Health Services, LFD, the prosecutor's office, and others. And so we already have one in the can, as you would say in the TV term, like a can of soda, can of pop. You have it. It's all edited, all that stuff. The one on Miss Emily Sperry is done with the help of our fire department. So that's in the can. So if you ever hear a video piece being in the can, that's what that means. The second shoot is set for Thursday, and so Anna is really excited about sharing that with other people and just touting her experience, but also the experiences of many LHS students, kind of recommending that service that the school offers. And finally, want to bring to everyone's attention the latest episode of our Love in Lebanon podcast. It also shares with it an invitation. We talk with Forza and also JG Squared about the Brakeman building, now open, now leasing. There's some unveiling of one of the tenants that will be on the first floor of that Brakeman building space. That open house invite, I'm going to kind of spoil things here, December 13th from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. So everyone here and everyone listening are invited to take a tour of the Brakeman building space. You can kind of check it out. There's some refreshments there. We're going to cut the ribbon. And again, folks on the Board of Works and our City Council will receive invitations to be able to attend, help cut the ribbon, be in some great pictures, and look forward to more great things happening at that building. So we talk about that in the latest episode. The final episode of 2023 features Jason Lawson. Jason is with DPW. He was the guy up here just before me. He talks about how things have gone so far and what we can expect from the Lebanon Department of Public Works. And so that will be the last episode of 2023. But if you have other episode ideas, you can email us at loveinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Great, thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? From the public? Thank you, sir. All right, move on to old business. There's nothing on my agenda. Is there anything from the board? Okay, new business then. First item up is a alley closure request for a gas line replacement at 126 West Washington Street. Kevin?
Thank you very much. Straightforward here. This is a request from CenterPoint Energy to close the alley to the rear of 126 West Washington Street. That's the site of what will be the new Four Finger Distillery. Closure is expected this is kind of weather permitting, but will happen sometime after the first of the year. It won't be just a 2-day closure of that alley for them to make that connection to the gas main and hook up the gas meter.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve the alley closure request as presented.
Make a motion, we make a alley closure request for a gas line replacement as presented.
Motions, there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, next will be a professional services contract and recommendation for the former Street Garage Parks Master Planning effort from V3. Kevin?
Thank you very much. I mentioned this in my update here, but this is Sorry, just trying to pull up there we go, pull up the contract so I can reference some numbers here. But again, this is a professional services agreement for V3 companies, also the company that did the professional services associated with the Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental studies. But this is for master planning services associated with that site. Let's see, the compensation associated with the design contract is not to exceed $51,000. This will include a pretty robust, this is not final construction documents, this is a planning level effort to hold public meetings, get public input associated with the park. So what the park will be, we will let this process tell us exactly what the public wants it to be. And this group and other elected officials will also have stakeholder meetings associated with that where you can voice your opinions as well. But there will be a public open house process, if you will, to take this project through this planning phase.
I just want to point out too, we're actually funding this with our brownfields grant money that we get from the EPA. So it's
Actually, two sources.
Oh, sorry.
Part of it is brownfield money that we get through our brownfield grant, our brownfield remediation grant, and then also some money from existing money in this year's budget for active living.
Oh, that's right.
And then I think there'll be a little bit of active living money coming out of next year's consulting line for that as well.
Sorry, thank you. I wanted to clarify. So, but again, that's part of, because it's a remediation of the existing potential brownfield, that's why we're able to use the
Exactly.
money there. So, any questions on professional services contract or recommendation?
We are working with the Parks Board with this as well, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just to start the process of.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
when I read through the agreement, I didn't see anything mentioned about the Parks Board.
This is, I mean, there's already been one
Why I
meeting
wanted to
held,
make sure
one
the
sort of
Parks
kick.
Board was included in the process.
Absolutely. Yeah, already been one meeting held with John and staff and the consultants to look at this. I provided an update at the park board meeting last week. So yeah, this is a park project, but this is before the Board of Works because you are the contracting
Sure.
entity for
Yeah,
the city
I
of
understand
Lebanon. So,
Yeah.
and this will not hit any park board funds associated with this design contract.
Okay. Would entertain a motion then to approve pending final legal review and authorizing the mayor to sign on the board's behalf?
I'll make a motion, we'll go ahead and approve the professional services contract for the street garage park master plan and authorize the mayor to go ahead and sign after it's reviewed.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill, on favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, next will be, and Kevin, so did we have, I want to clarify, we had a little bit of discrepancy here on agendas here. The Elizaville Road drainage is later, correct? Do we have the widening for Riley Road bid opening, is that later as well?
So the bid openings are later.
At the end, okay.
But there is also contracts for inspection and survey services for both projects as well.
Okay, all right, so I think mine's correct then. Okay, they may have shuffled them around, maybe the issue, so, okay.
My agenda is in a little bit different order than we're going, which is fine, but,
Okay, I must have gotten the different version than everybody else, so sorry.
understood. As long as we get it all taken care of.
Yeah, let me know if it's not all on there, so. I have professional services contract award recommendation for Elizaville Road survey and right-of-way engineering services next.
So you said Elizaville Road survey was the first,
Yeah.
was the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Similar to the last agenda item, this is for professional services associated with the Elizaville Road drainage project. So this is for survey and right-of-way engineering associated with that project. And the consultant on this one is JQOL or JQual. And this is for, again, for those right-of-way services that are on a per parcel, per easement, per staking event type of scenario that works out to $1,500 per parcel and $700 per parcel staking, and a base existing drawing review fee of $2,500. So those are the unit price fees that are associated with this contract. And we would be asking for approval to enter into this contract and authorizing the mayor to execute this on your behalf.
Any questions on that from the board? Would entertain a motion then to approve the professional services contract for the Elizaville Road Survey and right-of-way engineering, pending final legal review and authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the board.
Make a motion, we approve the personal services contract award recommendation for the Elizaville Road Survey and R&W Engineering Services, JQ0L, and have mayor sign signatures to approve.
Motion, is there a second? Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. All right, I have it now for the services contract for Elizaville Road and Riley Road inspection services.
Thank you very much. Also very similar to the last two items, this is a professional services contract for the inspection services associated with those two projects. So this is Elizaville Road, which is primarily a drainage project, and Riley Road, which is a drainage, widening, resurfacing, and sidewalk project. Again, this is for those inspection or project supervision services associated with those projects. This is an hourly not to exceed $31,000 contract, also with JQOL.
Any questions on that from the board?
Question, is that, Kevin, is that the total for those two projects? It says Elizaville Road and Riley Road.
Yes, that is the total for both projects. It is assuming a certain number of hours. I think we're figuring these are part-time inspection projects. These are 10 hours per job.
So it'll be billed per project, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
will be billed per project, have that separated out in the billing.
Yeah.
And both projects
Okay.
total not to exceed $31,000.
Any other questions? We'll entertain a motion then to approve the professional services contract for the Elizaville Road and Riley Road inspection services with JQOL.
And authorize the mayor to sign?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that
Okay.
we approve that as presented.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, board. So I have bid award next for the council chamber AV equipment.
Very good. Just checking off things here, make sure we don't miss anything. So the last time we were here, we opened bids for the council chambers, this room's audio-visual upgrades. The lowest and most responsible bidder was, excuse me, let the file open here, catch up to me, was for a total of $172,479.05, and that is to AV Designers Incorporated. So again, we're asking for your approval to issue a notice of award to AV Designers Incorporated after them being determined to be the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder associated with the J.W. Lastly Memorial Council Chambers audio-visual equipment system improvements.
Any questions on that from the board?
Okay.
Right.
We're just going to be.
Should that be in the motion, just to make sure?
Well, this is just awarding the bid.
I
How
would
we
say
work
this
out
is-
the
yeah.
finances is
Okay.
probably.
That's fine.
So
after.
all we're doing is asking for your approval to have the mayor sign a notice of award, and then that will prompt all the contract executions as well, but that would be handled in how the contract is set up.
So we'll figure out, okay, do they bill utilities and we pay back utilities, or they bill us and utilities pays us? We'll
So
figure that in the contract. so.
the motion I'd be looking for would be approval of the notice of award, authorizing the mayor to sign on the city's behalf to issue that notice, and then to sign on behalf of the city for the final execution of any contracts associated with that award.
Questions on
I'll make a
that?
motion, we approve the council chamber audio-visual equipment system improvements. Who's the company again?
AV Designers.
AV
Inc.
Designers.
AV
Incorporated.
Designers,
Inc.
and authorize the the mayor sign the agreement following legal review.
Okay, motions, or second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, I have bid authorization for the Lebanon Police Department for the sewer repairs and upgrades.
Yep, absolutely, thank you. We've just been working with Chief Morgan and Assistant Chief Dickerson to look at the sewer repairs that need to be made on the building. And so just to dot i's and cross t's, we're looking for an authorization so that we can seek proposals or bids associated with that work.
Any questions on that? Would entertain a motion then to authorize the police department to seek bids for sewer repairs and upgrades for the police station.
Make a motion, we authorize the Lebanon Police Department to do sewer repairs, upgrades as presented.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's approved. All right, I have bid openings now for Elizaville Road drainage.
Very good. Okay. So we are opening a couple of bid packages tonight. First one up on our agenda would be the Elizaville Road drainage package. Again, this is to remove and address some standing water issues associated with the project. Okay, now you can see my screen there. These are the bid packages that are currently active at this time. Elizaville Road drainage is the one we are reviewing this evening. And sorry, following my written instructions here. I promise you, we will get smoother as we go through this process. So here we go. These are the bids that we received on the Elizaville Road drainage project. We received 4 bids. As you can see, they were all received today prior to the 3 p.m. deadline. We have J.S. McCullough Excavating, LLC, SLB Pipe Solutions, Calumet Civil Contractors Incorporated, and Kreider & Kreider Incorporated. This also shows a record of the required uploads that had to be made. So it looks like all 4 contractors have uploaded the appropriate proposal form, the appropriate Form 96 form, as well as the contractor's affidavit forms. So with that, we will begin the opening process. And we'll accept these into the system. And then go into the bid display. So again, you can see at the top of this page right there are the contractors that were submitted, and here are the totals. So the J.S. McCullough Excavating LLC bid was for $240,295.20. Calumet Civil Contractors was next at $311,000 even. Kreider & Kreider was at $371,800, and SLB Pipe Solutions was at $437,135. So again, upon opening results, this is also subject to review for responsiveness and responsibleness. The low bidder appears to be J.S. McCullough Excavating at $240,295.20. We will take all these packages under advisement, under review, and come back with a recommendation on award at your next meeting, which will be January 8th.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, next will be, so now I have Riley Road widening and drainage bid opening. I still think that's faster than opening the envelope, so I think we're doing all right. We're doing all right. All
right, Riley Road. Again, we received two packages. You can see both packages were received prior to the 3 p.m. deadline today. One is from Olco, O-L-C-O Incorporated, and one from Calumet Civil Contractors. Both bids submitted the required bid bond, proposal form, Form 96, and contractors affidavit. We will, accept these. And then go to the display. So here you can see the two bids that were submitted for the Riley Road resurfacing and sidewalk reconstruction, with the low bid being Calumet Civil Contractors at $473,000 even, and Olco Incorporated being at $491,988.17. Again, we will review these for responsibleness and responsiveness, but at the time of opening, it appears that Calumet Civil Contractors is the low bid at $473,000. We will take the bid packages under advisement and review and come back to you at your next meeting on January 8th with a recommendation associated with award.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions on that from the board? Okay. As you mentioned earlier in your report, we've moved the bid opening for the Fordyce Road construction to 3 p.m. at December 18th. So next Monday, just some clarifications that came up during the bid process. So wanted to make sure people had an extra week to address those concerns. So again, special meeting on December 18th at 3 p.m. for the Fordyce Road bid opening. And the last thing I have, so this is where you'll tell me if we missed anything, will be the RFP results and contract recommendations for the Grant Street sump pump remediation.
Absolutely. So the Grant Street project, included an extensive storm sewer system, and that storm sewer system included a lateral system for sump pump connections. But that is where the scope ended for the current contract that went through the NDOT bidding and that is held by NDOT, with the Reith Riley being the contractor. So they have constructed a storm sewer system and an under drain lateral system for sump pump connections, but their scope did not include the actual connection of those sump pumps. So we've been working with local plumbers to get quotes associated with those connections. We issued a written specification associated with what would be required with those connections, and we saw a number of proposals from, I believe it was, four different plumbing contractors. One being Hopper Excavating, one being Jackson Excavating, one being Indianapolis Water Heater Service, Kaler Plumbing, and unfortunately, everyone except for Indy Water Service was unable to quote the project, or uninterested in quoting the project. So we only have one quote to share with you, but it is within what we thought would be the realm of possibility for these lateral connections. And what this is it's a per connection proposal, which is what we requested, at $3,100, $3,100.00. Again, for Indy Water Heater and Softener, LLC. And we would like your permission to enter into a contract with them to make these connections and get everybody's home sump pump systems back online. We think there's no more than 20, but we won't know until this is part of the spec that they were required to quote, which was to go door to door, investigate existing sump pump systems, and be ready to remake those connections to the lateral systems provided by Reith Riley.
I just want to provide a little bit of context for the board on these. A few years ago, I think it's been 4 or 5 now, even I think prior to me coming into office, the city of the utilities kind of has identified that people had connected their sump pumps just to get traditional rainwater, groundwater out of basements, and had connected those into their sewer system. This obviously creates additional flow in our sewers that is mostly rainwater that dilutes, and it creates a lot of challenges from a capacity issue with our sewer pipes, things like that. And I know when they were able to go through the different basins within our sewer system, the Edgewood area was one of our, call it, hot spots of these, because I think prior to 1976, that was what you did. That was just how you did it. Whereas after that, it's separated out into our storm sewers and things like that. So, but we know there was a lot of this additional rainwater coming into our sewer systems in this area. So this is, I will say honestly, a little bit of a pilot program for us too. This is not something that the city's really ever done before. But we obviously reconstructing Grant Street, it was an opportunity for us to say, hey, let's also put in the infrastructure in place that can make this easy, right? So trying to use the city's ability of having multiple, obviously bid it out, similar concept we have with the sidewalks, right? If the city bids out sidewalks, cheaper than a homeowner going off on a one-off basis, right? So I know certainly quotes that I've heard from people before when I've gone door to door, usually this is upwards of $5,000 per to correct it. So obviously significant savings if the city can assist with that, partner with it. But it certainly helps our utilities, and I see Ed in the audience. He can jump up here if you want to say anything on this, but I do think it's a pilot program for us, and it will actually save us money long-term because we're actually spending less to treat additional, rainwater's clean, right? You don't necessarily need to treat rainwater, so it saves us at the plant. So,
and we don't, to add to that, we don't know that every home has a sump pump, and we don't know where those sump pumps go. I can tell you why we were constructing the Grant Street project. We only encountered 2 actual sump lines that we could verify were sump lines, 2 pipes that we could verify were sump lines. And so we know those connections are going to have to be made, but we may find as we go door to door, or this contractor goes door to door, they may find that some of those sump pumps are pumping into the sewer laterals. And that is exactly what we need to remove, because that is pumping clean rainwater into our sewage treatment collection system, and we have to treat it. You can't selectively remove that from the waste stream. So to your mayor's point, we hope that someday we can look at a more robust citywide project, and exactly any number less than $5,000, I would have been considered that a good price, because that is the typical going rate if you were to call up a plumber and say you need a new sump line ran on your house.
So how much work are we looking to do?
Well, what we decided to do, what we quoted, what we put together in that specification is actually going door to door, inspecting where their sump pump, if they have one, exits the building, and then trenching from where that exits the house all the way to the lateral. And the reason we want to do that is because we don't want to just try to find it at the edge of the road and hope that it is intact and operational all the way back to the house. So when we walk away from this project, we want to be certain that that line is clean and free of any tree roots and other things that might be causing problems. We want to know that that is solid from where it leaves the house all the way to where it connects to our lateral system.
So I guess my question is going to be, where is the homeowner's responsibility in this?
Other than signing the permission slips to allow us onto their property and showing us where their sump pump system is, they would have, and providing an adequate sump pump system, we are going to test our line to make sure what we install is adequate.
So the homeowner would have to supply the sump pump and the plumbing to
And
the exterior?
everything from the exterior wall back to the sump pump pit and sump pump. If it's not there, we're not going to do that for people. So if they don't have a current sump pump system, we're not going to go through the process of creating one for them. We've created then a lateral for them to hire a plumber to connect to. But if they have a working sump pump system, we're going to intercept that where it leaves the house and replumb that to the new lateral system.
Did we find any at all during the construction process?
We only found 2, but I have to believe of the 20 houses on the east side of the street, which is is where there was a ditch,
Yeah.
and we think that's where some of them were pumping to. Those are the ones we think are the likely culprits for where we'll find them. But until you go door to door, it's kind of hard to spot when you're doing major excavation work, an 1.5-inch line, going into the ditch, if it was even there.
And the challenge is, right, I mean, again, if your house was built before, again, I think 76 or 86, I can't remember, I think it's a 6, one of those. I mean, it was perfectly legal, right? It was code. It was totally fine. That was what was done, and it was set up that way, right? So, but obviously today, that's not where our standards are, right? And so the challenge is it's causing utilities and therefore the city challenges on the backside of this, right? So I understand, I think I understand where you're going, where are the homeowners going to participate in this program? I think it's what I'm kind of maybe hearing from you. Because it's a legal connection, I don't necessarily think it's fair for us to burden a homeowner to say, help us fix our problem. When it was put in and being done, it was completely legal. So we can certainly have a discussion about that if we want to expand this to larger areas, because we also make sure we have to make sure we have the stormwater system to collect the sump pumps in this situation as well too, right? So we can't just do this citywide and not actually have, a system to take it. So that's kind of why I think it's certainly again, it's a pilot project, it's kind of a test to see if it makes sense. And I think we'll be able to, from utility side, we'll be able to see, what were flows before and what were flows after. And I think we can calculate what the impact is from a financial situation from our utilities and whether it's justified. So if this gets rolled out to a broader audience, maybe there's some discussions of, maybe the utilities takes more of a lead or something like that. But we know, since we just rebuilt Grant Street, it's a good time to say, hey, let's try to fix it while we're there. So if that answers your question, Dick. So, Ed, if there's anything you wanted to add too.
Yeah.
Can I just add, just sort of, the mayor's very well versed with the utilities and just kind of.
Things you learn as mayor that you never expect to, right? It's some pump connections, so, sorry.
Yeah, so in the springtime, at our wastewater plant, we will see flows up to 4 times the flows, sometimes even 10, sometimes up to 15 MGD is the highest we've seen. And the normal flow in the plant is probably about 2 MGD, millions of gallons per day, and it's all rainwater. And we've put flow meters in the sewers and determined that it's coming from these parts of town. And we will be able to see a difference if we do a lot of them. I don't know about just one, if just 1 or 2, but if you do 20 of them, and it's a difficult problem to solve, because as the mayor said, in the past we had what was called a combined sewer system, meaning it was designed such that the rain gutters, everything went into the sewer, but they've since learned that that's not a wise practice, and how do you fix it after the fact? Before I was here and before the mayor's first term, they tried to go door to door to try and fix this, and nobody was going to let them in their house and in their basement to tell them they needed to spend $5,000. So this is a hard problem for the utilities. We could make more capacity by doing this if it can get rolled into another project, and we're very supportive of the efforts that the city's doing and anything we can do to help. We've had a lot of joint working sessions with our board and the city council talking about this, and we just anything to make it work.
Good.
Yep.
Didn't we at one time back in the, I'm not really sure about exact dates, but looking somewhere in like 2000 to 2005, and some of the additions, we actually went in and the utilities did smoke tests.
It's even
In
more
order to
than that.
determine, as opposed to this physical, trying to get into a basement or somewhere to do this, to identify those locations.
I wasn't here when they did the smoke testing, but I will say that smoke testing, it won't find everything. Because if you have a sump pump, the smoke's not going to go through a pump. If it drains directly through, it might come out, the stack at the top of the house. Smoke testing is best for detecting rain spouts that are connected to the sewer. That shows it about every time there. But sometimes it's the kind of thing you just have to inspect or see where it connects to the line. So it's a good method, but it's not a perfect one.
Take you to question.
I think, Kevin, answer me if I'm wrong, but I think, doesn't our current stormwater ordinance address the downspouts that they're not allowed to hook the downspouts into the sump
Correct,
pump
yeah.
system.
Our current stormwater ordinance prohibits any downspout connections
Right,
to,
and I understand what we're trying to get here, okay, because, you know, we create, the whole idea was always to create a line coming out from the drain that they could hook their sump pump on, okay, and it'll always go to, I'll say, the right-of-way or the property line. And from then that point on, it was up to the homeowner then to take care of it from that point on. And that's where I think we're getting a lot of our leakages from, you know, from the house out to where it dumps into the drain. That's where we're probably getting a lot of infill of water from lines that are old and broken down and things like that. So, you know, I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea. It's just, it seems like to me the homeowner needs to have a little responsibility here. And, you know, it needs to be addressed. I just don't know how far we go and I know we want to address it. That's the problem. So I guess we have to, somewhere down the line, I think the homeowner, property owner has to be a little bit responsible
and I think this is
for some cost share or something here to replace that line on the outside.
But if this is, if this is a kind of a pilot program, as you said, we're going to learn some of the things that will help answer Dick's question, I think, as to, okay, where do we go from here?
Well, and the city council tasked me with this, I think, about 2 years ago, but it was not a program that was funded. You know, so this is the first project where we have an adequate new storm sewer system that can provide these connections. And I think we are talking about in the future, there would be some sort of a cost share program similar to the sidewalk program for possibly eliminating these things. But the difficulty is that, you know, in older subdivisions, I don't have an infrastructure system to really provide these laterals. So this is sort of the first time we've had that. And these people, you know, prior to the Grant Street project, had a flowing ditch through their front yard that they were able to discharge into, and we have removed that. I think for good reasons and for the right reasons to create a modern storm sewer system on that corridor.
Well, historically, that area has been, a real problem for property owners.
Yeah.
And this, you know, with all the other improvements that we're making with the Grand Street project, now it seems to me this is a logical thing to go ahead and make this happen.
And again, it goes back, and I understand what you're saying, Dick, too, of saying it's, you know, it's part of it's the homeowner's responsibility. And I, to a certain extent, I understand where you're coming from. It is certainly on their property. But when it was installed, it was likely legal for them to do that, right? And so we're the ones that kind of moved the goalpost to saying, hey, we don't want to do this anymore. It works for them just fine, right? It works today, right? They don't get water in their basement. It drains out. It goes into our sewers, right? It doesn't cause them any harm. But it certainly is a problem we have to deal with on the utility side. And I think if it's a problem for us, it should be on us to fix it, especially if they have to, you know, there's a lot of, they have to deal with the headaches of the making it and creating it and all that stuff. So I hear what you're saying, but I mean, I also don't think it's a good solution for us to go in and cap off their laterals that they may have been properly connected, because we can't do that either, right? So I understand what you're saying, but I think it's something that I think we have to step forward and say, hey, this is something that, since it's a problem for us, let's fix it. Let's try to do it the right way. And again, we may do this study and fix 20 of them, and if we see no noticeable difference, maybe there's other issues we have that we have to figure out.
Well, I'm not opposed to, let's try it and see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay? And if it works, then it's something that we look at for all new projects in the future.
And that's what I think that's where it makes sense, because we have to make sure we have the system in place.
On all new projects, it's the developer and the homeowner are the ones responsible for connecting sump pumps to laterals that the developer installs. We have not seen a lot of sump pump connections on our road projects. So I don't even know how many we're talking about here, but we know because of the nature of the project, the open ditch, there will be some, and we know we have at least 2. I have a feeling where there may be, you know, somewhere in the order of 15 to 20, but we won't know till we really go door to door.
Well, I know when we did Meridian Street, East Street, we didn't have that many. Didn't have very
We
many.
did make a lot of, we did reconnect a lot of sump pumps
Yeah, we did.
on
Yeah.
East Street. I couldn't speak to Meridian Street. But there, that was a local project where, we worked with the contractor and the homeowner to make those connections. This is a federally funded construction project that we don't hold the construction contract with the road contractor. And so we can't, nor would they willingly work in someone's yard to make these connections, because they don't have permission to be in that yard and they don't have any contractual authority to be there.
Do we, I'm gonna say, do we make this like a one-shot deal? We make the improvement, and I just don't want them to come back 5 years from now and say, hey, there's a problem with that line between here and the.
Well, we're requiring a one-year warranty by the contractor, and yes, there's going to have to be some sign-off from the homeowners if they're going to get this connection.
Yeah, because I don't want them coming back to us. and
Yeah,
saying-
this is, the maintenance becomes certainly their issue, for sure, right? This is not a, they get tree roots, we're probably doing PVC pipe though anyway, so it's gonna probably,
We are.
it's not the old clay tile, so I think we'll be a little bit better spot, but.
No, we're talking Schedule 40 PVC.
There we go.
Well,
So
yeah.
I think we'll be in a better, but I agree, maintenance for sure going on is going to be on the homeowner, right? But, we're the one, the upfront, it's such a high cost just to do it. You have to dig it up.
Yeah.
So.
Very
Any other
good.
questions?
Well,
Sorry,
our-
good discussion on this.
Our biggest problem is when the new homes are being built and the building inspectors walk away and they've got occupancy to move in, then the homeowner goes in and changes the downspouts. And
Well,
Puts
that,
it in and-
I'm not saying that doesn't happen,
Yeah, it
but
does.
now we have ordinances in place that
Yeah.
if we find that, we can force
Yeah.
them to correct it.
Well, and that's easier to find too with the smoke tests, right? So that's an easier catch.
And we have forced some homeowners to, primarily it's been not sump pump issues, but changing their downspouts.
Right.
Downspouts per our stormwater quality ordinance need to discharge at grade so that runoff from the roof, which is not clean water, to be
Right.
honest. It's not just rainwater. There's a lot of things that run off of a roof. It needs to run through the grass so it can be properly treated before it goes into our storm sewer system.
Right.
Okay.
This is not a new issue.
Oh, I know. Oh, well, and it's related to
Discussed
stormwater,
this for
right?
years.
So.
As long as it's rained, it's been an issue, so. So anyway, I guess, thank you for the good discussion. Again, we did issue a request for quotes on this to 5 different contractors. We only had one respond. Well, all of them responded that they didn't have time or interest in putting it together. One responded with an actual cost proposal, and that was Indy Water Heater and Softener LLC at a cost of $3,100 per connection. And that's what I'm asking for authorization, subject to legal review and authorization from the mayor to enter into a contract with them for this work.
Okay, would entertain a motion then to essentially authorization to move forward with Indy, what again? Indy Water Heater?
Yes, Indy, I'm sorry.
Sorry, the second you
Shoot,
pulled
I
down.
just closed it. There it is. Indy Water Heater and Softener LLC.
Okay. And pending final legal review and authorizing the mayor to sign on the board's behalf.
One question, there was no local?
Well, we reached out to Kaler Plumbing, Hibbard Plumbing, Hopper Plumbing, and Jackson Plumbing, all local. One of them recommended that we call these guys, who are located in Fishers. So we had 4 local contractors that passed on it.
But they said they're all too busy.
Yeah.
So.
For various reasons, but I
Okay.
only have one proposal to share with you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Indy Water Heater and Softener Company to fulfill this recommendation pending legal review and authorization of the mayor.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, board. All right, that concludes what I have on my agenda. Is there anything else? Did I miss, Kevin? We're good?
That is everything on my list,
Okay,
yes.
so just got reshuffled then. Okay, all good then. Okay, move on to claims. Is there a motion concerning the claims?
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, any announcements or discussion from the board? Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. This concludes our Board of Works meetings for the year. So our next Board of Works meetings will be Monday, January 8th, 2024 at 5:30 PM. City Council's up next, right?
What
We
about
are.
that
Special meeting.
special meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. We do have a special meeting. Good point. On December 18th at 3 PM for the Fordyce bid opening as well. So, but other than that, this is our regular scheduled meeting. So with that, we are now adjourned.